In this lesson, we are going to draw and modify polylines. The prefix poly means many, so the polyline command gives us a way to draw many lines and arcs and have them be connected as one selectable object. In addition to being one selectable object, there's some other reasons why I might want a polyline. First of all, I can add widths to the lines. Also, having polylines makes it easier to do some other commands that we'll learn later, such as using the area command. The Polyline command is located on the Home tab in the Draw panel. PL is the keyboard shortcut, and when beginning the Polyline command, it works really just like the line command. You can pick points on screen, you can use polar tracking and type in direct distance, you can type in coordinate values. Those are all pretty much the same. The big difference is when I escape to cancel out of the command and come back to select it, I can see that it is a series of connected polylines. I'll also see at the command line that I have a few more options. With the line command, I had the close and undo options. With the polyline, I have those options as well as some others. But let's look at the close again. After I've drawn a few polylines, I can click on the close option in the command line to create a closed polygon. I'll escape to deselect that one. Another convenient option of the polyline command is the ability to switch between lines and arcs. So I will begin the polyline command, and I'd like to create a slot shape. So I'm going to start my first point here, and I'm going to draw to the right 4, then enter. Next, I would like to draw an arc that has a radius of 1. So I'm not going to cancel out of the polyline command, because if I do, it will no longer be a connected set of objects. Instead, in the command line, I'm going to choose the arc option. As you can see, it creates an arc tangent to that last line segment. I'll simply bring it straight up, type 2, then enter. Now you can see I can create another arc tangent to that one, but I'm going to switch back to the line option by clicking line in the command line. Now once more, I'll draw to the left 4, then enter, switch back to arc, and then choose the close option. And now I've created a closed-in slot. Another benefit of polylines is the ability to draw with widths. I'll begin my polyline command and click a first point on my screen. Then I can select width in the command line. I can type in a beginning width. I'll start with 0.1, then enter. And then if I want the ending width to be the same, I'll press enter to accept 0.1 again. As you can see, I'm now drawing with a line width of 0.1. I can simply pick some points on screen, and then I'll close my shape in. Notice that when I close, it cleans up all of these corners. Also notice that when I start the polyline command again, it retains that width value. Typically when we're working with lines, it doesn't really matter if you choose the close option or if you just click back on the original point. This time I'm going to click back on the original point and escape. Notice that when dealing with polyline widths, all of the corners clean up except for this original one because I did not use the close option. So it is important to use the close option if you are dealing with line widths. You can also specify different starting and ending line widths. So if I wanted to create an arrow shape, I'll begin with my current width of 0.1 and create a line. Then in the middle of this polyline, I don't want to press escape because that would separate the lines. I'm just going to click on width at the command line, and then I'll put in 0.5 for my starting width. And for my ending width, instead of accepting the same value, I'm going to put in 0, then enter. Now you can see that I can create an arrowhead shape, so maybe I'll bring this one out 1.5, then enter. Notice that even though that last segment had 2 different widths, AutoCAD is only going to remember that second width from here on out. In this case, 0. So I'll escape to deselect that. In addition to drawing the polylines, there's also several different ways that you can edit a polyline as well. Let's take a look at a few of these. So first, as you can see, I have a polygon here, and I would like to break these apart into separate segments. We do this with the explode command. The explode command is located on the Home tab in the Modify panel. You can also type X, then press Enter at your keyboard. Since I've already selected the polygon, when I press the explode command, it has now broken these back into separate line segments. So that way, if I needed to modify a certain part or erase a certain part, I can now do so. This next shape is an equilateral triangle, but it's missing one of its sides. As you can see, it's already been created with the Polyline command. Rather than drawing in a new segment, I can just simply use the close option. For this, I need to start the Polyline Edit command. This is located on the Home tab, in the Modify panel, in the drop-down. So if I click the drop-down next to Modify, I will find Polyline Edit right here. You can also type PE, then press Enter at your keyboard. So I'll begin by choosing Polyline Edit, and I'll select the polyline here. And in the command line, I will find the Close option. As you can see, it now draws in that last segment and has created a closed polyline. I'll escape to cancel out of the command, and you can see it's one selectable object. On the other side of that, I have a closed polygon and I would like to open it up. So once more, I'm going to use the Polyline Edit, select the polyline, and this time I'm going to choose the Open option. And as you can see, it just simply deletes the last segment that was used to close this polyline in. Earlier, we saw how we can add line widths while we're drawing polylines. We can also go back and modify them as well. I wish to thicken the lines of this octagon. I'll start my Polyline Edit command, select the polyline, then at the command line, choose Width. The command line prompts me for a new width for all segments, so it's important to note that they all have to be the same. I can't have a different starting and ending width. In this case, I'll put 0.2 and enter. And as you can see, all the widths have now been changed. Next, I have a series of lines and arcs. Notice that they're not polylines, they're just separate arcs and lines. I would like to combine these all into one closed polygon. While there's a way to do this with the Polyline Edit command, the quickest way to do this is with the Join command. This is located once more in the Modify dropdown. Here's the Join command. You can also type J, then press Enter at your keyboard. For this one, I'm simply going to select all the segments I wish to join together. For this to work, they actually have to be snapped endpoint to endpoint with no gaps or overlaps. Then I'll press Enter. My command line tells me 4 objects were converted to one polyline, and I can now see that this is one selectable polyline. The Join option can also be used to take an arc and close it into a circle. So I will begin the Join command again. This time I'll select this arc, then press Enter. Since I selected an arc, I get different options in the command line. This time I have a Close option. I'll select Close, and that arc has now been turned into a single circle. To summarize, using the Polyline command allows us to draw several different segments and have them all be joined together to be one selectable object. This gives us the benefit of being able to add in widths, and also can make it more convenient to work with the drawing object. We can also use the Edit Polyline command to join segments together or to change their widths. And finally, we can use the Join option to join separate lines and arcs into a polygon. That concludes this lesson on drawing and modifying polylines in AutoCAD.